Welcome back to the Crypto Market Updates channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the need for KYC on the ICE network. To this day, there is still an obscurity around the need or the procedures behind the KYC for that application. To this day, I still see people posting on Twitter and underneath the videos, YouTube videos of some of the makers, some of the people who support the program, the channel, who support the project rather, making comments explaining that they have no idea how to do KYC. There's still people complaining that they about the KYC, the procedures and the face checks that are occasionally implemented. In some cases that have been rolled out to some people, and not everybody, but some, and it seems like a huge mess. The one YouTuber that is covering most of the information provided by the team is Raise United, I believe, and he seems to be taking off from the video that I watched today. He seems to be taking an attitude that's similar, very reminiscent to that of Zeus, and it's very obtuse and kind of, if you don't like it, then get out of here approach. And his earlier videos were not like that. Now he seems to be taking on some of the water that Zeus is spilling, and it seems he's kind of becoming a tool of that project, which is sad to see, to be honest. Nonetheless, none of my business. Where I'm here to talk about KYC and the project itself. So as you know, I'm booted from both of the channels, the Twitter channels, so I have no access to any of the information. So whatever I get is relayed basically through Raise United. And after watching this video, if he does watch some of the videos that I post, which I get the feeling that I may be booted from his channel as well, so I don't have any access to any information at all. But as he himself said, he doesn't get access to a lot of information as well. He even mentioned in his last video that he was trying to get Zeus on a podcast on his channel and have an interview with him, but he said, Zeus informed him that that wasn't going to happen anytime soon. So even for the guy who's supposed to be supporting the project, he's not getting the honey that's delivered, that should be delivered to a person who is working on a project. I know for a fact that certain communities that I'm a part of have a Discord channel, have different means of communicating with the developers, with the CEO, with the people who are behind the project, while ICE doesn't really seem to have anybody like that, and they seem to like the idea of being shrouded behind a veil of uncertainty and like this weird mystique like the Pi network, which also is a bizarre project, and whether that's going to come to fruition or not seems to be the work of like two people who are or are not legit, and it's just so bizarre. Anyway, okay, so here we go to the KYC. All right, so let me take you down this rabbit hole. I made this nifty little PowerPoint. I hope that's just to clarify a little bit and make it a bit more accessible to people, yeah, so it's visible instead of you staring at my mug talking about it all the time. So my question was, should ICE require KYC? And the reason why I posed that question is because it's so highly annoying. The initial KYC, and for every other project, the KYC that's present is a one-time deal. You go in, you register, and usually a KYC requires your ID. That's the requirement. That's the legal requirement for reasons that I'm going to explain in just a little bit. And reasons for why the ICE network may not be asking to have those same requirements, which hopefully will become clear very soon. And so my question was, do they require KYC, and why is it being so redundantly overdone on a daily basis? It hasn't been very consistent, to be quite honest. And like I said, KYC should require you to register, get it done with, and finished. It's a one-time deal, whereas on ICE, the KYC was done. I had to go in and register with my country, I guess, a phone number maybe, and give in some other details and take a mugshot. And then there is this pesky face app, emotion app, that in which I have to see Mr. Man Bun on a daily basis drawing silly faces, and it's highly annoying. So let's see. Do we really need a KYC for the ICE network? So I compiled a little list of reasons, of points for why the KYC that is being done now on ICE is completely redundant and it should be stopped. Not to mention the fact that it's really upsetting and it's annoying. So let's go over some of these points here. Number one, KYC checks remove the risk of onboarding customers involved with money laundering, fraud, or other illegal activities like financing terrorism. Sounds good, sounds legit. Number two, why KYC? This is very important when onboarding a politically exposed person such as someone working in public office who could be a target for bribery or corruption. So you need KYC to protect these individuals, to make sure that they're not in the public eye and nobody knows why they're in that particular project, which, you know, this would apply to, I guess, banks and institutions and things like that. The third point, getting the detailed information about your customer protects both parties in the business transaction and relationship. So if you are dealing with finances, then obviously you need to know who you're dealing with as a bank. KYC serves an important purpose for providing superior service, preventing liability, and avoiding association with money laundering and types of fraud. Obviously, when you have a picture in your KYC, someone, you have their ID, you know who they are, you know where they've been. If they are a registered offender, then you can find that out. Number five, KYC, or Know Your Customer, is a mandatory verification procedure carried out by financial institutions with the goal of minimizing illegal activities. Sounds legit. And number six, some reserve banks have prohibited individuals to open a bank account, trading account, or demat account without fulfilling the KYC procedure. Now the question I have, and it's a very simple question, does ICE fall into any of these categories? Does ICE deal with finances? Does it offer any financial incentives? Does it deal with money? No, it doesn't. There is no money involved. There is no real money that is, you know, exchanging hands, not that we know of. Maybe behind the blankets and maybe from the top investors, but certainly not from the people to which this project is being pandered on Twitter. So there is absolutely no reason, no legal reason for the people behind ICE requiring everybody to do a KYC. And there certainly is no reason for people to provide their ID, which is why, like I mentioned before, they have not required KYC. Raise United comes up with some weird explanations of why ICE is not requiring the documents. They decided to scrap it. No, they probably have no right to ask anybody for identification, for ID, because they're not an actual project. They're just a game of some sort, a weird, you know, propagating game that just works on its own and you are a part of it, and the more people you get, the more points you score, but there is no money involved, none. So they have no right to ask you for ID. As a matter of fact, they have no right to have a KYC, and certainly not an annoying repetitive face scan like they do require people to do it, which, by the way, is not very efficient, and it's not very consistent. I did the KYC, which was the one-time deal with a picture of my face, and then I think for the next couple of days I had to do the face scan, and then there was nothing. It was complete silence for the next couple of weeks, until maybe yesterday I think it started up again, and we'll see how long that lasts. Now, all of these reasons stated relate to financial institutions, banks, and other institutions which deal with money. The main reason why KYC is done in cryptocurrency is in order to avoid the persecution by the SEC on counts of securities, fraud, or securities. So anytime a cryptocurrency or a crypto company sells tokens to the public, or coins to the public, well, coins can be sold, I guess, but tokens to the public, then those tokens become securities, because when the company actively advertises those tokens for sale, then they become securities. And so a KYC is required in order to be able to register these securities with the government body. And in order to do that, you need to have the people's details. Now, all good. My question is, does the ICE network fall under any of these points? Does the ICE network have any financial standing? Like, are they selling anything? No, they're not. Do they provide any service that is financially incentivizing to people? No, it isn't. Right now, the stuff that's being mined on ICE, they're just IOUs. They're not tokens. There was talk about moving over to the Ethereum network, which that hasn't happened. There is, it was talked about for a couple of days, and then it just fell into the grass and into the oblivion of the ether, crypto ether, and it's gone. None of it is coming out anymore. So ICE is not selling anything. There's no financial incentives that are being exchanged in any way or shape or form, not that we know of. So really there is no reason to have a KYC of any kind. Moving on. Here are some companies that need KYC. Financial institutions such as banks, insurance companies, and investment firms. Businesses that deal in high-value goods or services such as precious metals, art and real estate, and businesses that operate in high-risk industries such as gambling and gaming. ICE has none of that. Therefore, it does not require KYC. What businesses need KYC? KYC regulations used to focus primarily on traditional financial institutions such as banks, investment firms, and credit unions. Now they have expanded to cryptocurrencies and other companies, other things that are being offered in exchange for money. But if there is no money exchanged, then there is no need for KYC, because there is no excuse. And as a matter of fact, I strongly believe that as a legal requirement, in order for anybody to ask you your ID, they need to have a very good solid ground on which to do that. When you notice some of the videos on YouTube, police officers stop drivers and they ask for ID, and people have the right to refuse unless the police officers show reasonable grounds on which they are requiring the ID. And it's disputable, but it still stands. So ICE has absolutely no legal right to ask people for their IDs, for to verify that they actually are who they are, especially since they don't offer any financial incentives. There is no money being exchanged. Right now, there are a bunch of cryptocurrency exchanges that do not require KYC verification, and those are companies that deal with money being sent in and sent out of these exchanges for the purpose of trading cryptocurrencies against other assets like USDT, for example, Tether. So in conclusion, should ICE require KYC? Absolutely not. They have no right to require any form of identification from you. The reason why they didn't ask for IDs, my guess is, and I didn't do enough dwelling into the reasons for that, but they could probably be held liable or accountable for collecting IDs without a proper reason to having done so. There is absolutely no ground on which these people should be asking your IDs, and there is absolutely no reasons for why you should be sharing your ID or any form of ID with them. Even Pi doesn't have any mugshot. There is no picture recommended or picture requirement for running the Pi app. Once Pi, if they ever do, once Pi transfers over to a KYC and gets onto its mainnet, then they could be requiring KYC. Then they would be required to have a KYC and collect IDs if the tokens that people are mining on Pi will actually be able, the people will be able to sell them and convert them into USDT or other forms of currency that can be used in the real world. ICE has none of that, and as far as we know, there will be none of that until next year of 2024 in October, because even now the talk of moving on to Ethereum, it's disappeared. It's not even being mentioned by the likes of Raise United or vindicated Chidi on Twitter. I don't know if he's got his own channel or not, but none of these two people, both of these personalities don't mention anything about an Ethereum token any longer. Can they ask people to register? Yeah, sure. And people did. I mean, you register with a game when you register with a Google account. Of course, you can do that. Google has a lot of your information. Before you set up a Google account, you're required to submit a lot of your information. So does ICE have? Can they ask for people to, let them know what country they're from and all that stuff, how old they are, and the phone number? Sure. If you're willing to do that, then that's your information. If you're willing to part with it, then go ahead. Do they have the right to pester you with the facial scans? Questionable. I find it very sinister and annoying. Sinister and annoying. I'm not sure which one's worse. Whether it's more sinister than it is annoying, or more annoying than it is sinister. But in any case, it's definitely bothersome. Like I mentioned before, the fact that Raise United is his demeanor is kind of resembling that of ICE is a bit disconcerting, and it's a bit saddening. I find it a bit saddening to see a YouTuber kind of taking on water from the Zeus fella, who's such an obtuse and rough around the edges kind of dude. But I mean, that's none of my beeswax. So where this project is going to go, I just don't see how far I'm going to go with it. I tell you what, as soon as there is a question for ID, I draw the line. They will not ask for ID, and if they do, I'm out. If they start asking in some wishy-washy way about money, if there will be a requirement for people to deposit money, or you will have to pay fees for transactions on Ethereum in order to get your tokens, unless the tokens are actually worth it, I draw the line, I'm out. Another thing that I wanted to bring out is that the ICE blockchain was supposed to be built on the TON network, and TON up until recently was a dormant project until it wasn't. Right now, TON has become an official blockchain in Dubai, and it's pretty soon, or already has been, given the permission to be an official token in Dubai to be accepted by businesses alongside of Bitcoin and Ethereum and couple of other ones, I think. So that's TON. So I don't know how that relationship's going to be. I don't know who will fork ICE from TON. I honestly don't think that Zeus and the people in his team have the capability to fork TON into ICE. It feels like they were hoping to have TON just work for them and just simply, I don't know, snatch it away from its developers, but that's not going to happen because TON has actually taken shape, and it seems like it might be one of the leading crypto tokens in the sphere, specifically since it does, have a massive support on its Telegram group, which is kind of the where TON was initially introduced, but then had to be withdrawn due to, I don't know, I forget what it was, some legal requirements, legal problems. So where's ICE going? I don't see it going far. Is it moving to Ethereum? Probably not. There is none of that talk anymore. How far will it go? I don't know. But let's see how the run, how far it goes. And again, keep in mind where I draw the line, and I think where you should draw the line. Certainly do not give out your ID because there is no need. The fact that they keep scanning your face, it's redundant, and it's also silly. Today, literally, I was asked to do 4 different expressions, and every single one of them looked like this. And I passed. So I don't even know how accurate that app is. Nonetheless, it's fun. There are a lot of better projects, a lot more better projects. There are a lot of other projects that are much better out there and that are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, you know, expand your horizons. Make sure to smash up the likes on this video. Come back to this channel because I've got something cooking that I hope to bring to you, which will help you with your endeavors, in your money-making endeavors. I'm hoping to do a little bit more on the trading side of the cryptocurrency sphere. And I hope that that's going to be helpful. But in the meantime, stay cool, stay strong, and stay vigilant. Crypto Father out. Yo.